The shootout video is out of a veteran Dallas police officer shot in the leg by carjackers who fired on him 9 times. Hello, I'm Steve Eager.
Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes. Police Chief Eddie Garcia released a video today of that shootout. He says it is the 6th time this year one of his officers came under fire. In this case, the officer was working undercover surveillance on an unrelated investigation. Fox 4's Alex Boyer has an update on the officer and the suspects who were arrested. Alex.
Hey guys, Chief Garcia says that his officer is lucky to be alive. Keep in mind that he was shot at 9 times and struck once in the leg. Now, evidence that was collected at the scene ultimately led to the identity and the arrest of the 3 men from Louisiana. And Chief Garcia calls his officer a warrior. Surveillance video from this shopping plaza located off Harry Hines Boulevard in northwest Dallas captured the shootout between an undercover DPD officer and 3 armed criminals early Wednesday morning.
Shots were fired by at least 2 of the suspects and by Officer Chapman, who was ultimately struck in the left leg.
Veteran DPD officer Nathaniel Chapman was conducting surveillance from the parking lot shortly before 1 a.m. He was sitting inside his covert vehicle, a Dodge Challenger, when the 3 carjackers pulled up behind him and blocked him in. Garcia says Officer Chapman complied with the carjackers to give himself space, then pulled his service weapon. Almost immediately, shots were fired. Garcia says the attackers shot 9 times, and Officer Chapman exchanged fire as the trio took off in his car, as well as the gray sedan they arrived in, also stolen.
Here's an officer doing his job, working to protect the people of our city from violent crime when he becomes a victim himself.
Garcia would not elaborate on evidence recovered at the crime scene, but said that evidence and further investigation led to the identities of the 3 suspects, all from Louisiana, where they were also arrested. They are 19-year-old Rodriguez Lewis, 17-year-old Retravion Polk, and 18-year-old Xavier Cook. None of them reportedly injured in the shootout. Garcia says all 3 have criminal records. 2 pistols and a rifle were recovered. Garcia said the caliber of the bullets matched shell casings found at the crime scene. The undercover cop car was found abandoned just a few blocks away.
It was very obvious to them when they heard the radio traffic of an officer having been shot, and that's probably one of the reasons they dumped it as quickly as they did.
Garcia says Officer Chapman, who has been with the department since 1999, is in good spirits, but added that no one should have to go through this kind of traumatic encounter.
He put his life on the line, really, to protect the residents of the city, because had it not been his car, there was someone else whose car was going to get carjacked that night. That is 100% fact.
And those 3 suspects are in the process of being brought back here to Dallas, where they will be booked. That's likely when we'll get a look at their mugshots. They are charged with aggravated robbery, but the police chief tells me that additional charges are likely.
A man charged for shooting and killing a youth football coach during a youth football game in Lancaster pleaded guilty to murder today.
A judge then sentenced Aqib Talib to 37 years in prison as part of a plea agreement. Fox 4's Lori Brown is live in Dallas with the story. Lori.
Heather, family members of 43-year-old Michael Hickmon finally had a moment in court to face Yaqub Talib and tell him how his actions at a kids' football game impacted so many lives beyond the one he took.
I think I've played this in my head a million times. What I would say, what I wouldn't say.
Kenyatta Hickmon is the widow of 43-year-old Michael Hickmon. Yaqib Talib shot him repeatedly after opposing team coaches got into a disagreement at a youth football game August 13th last year, with crowds of parents and children as witnesses.
What do you tell a 9-year-old when they've watched the person gunned down who they thought was the strongest person in the world?
Hickmon told Talib the shooting impacted many lives at the game between 9-year-old boys.
You killed innocence. You killed souls, hopes, dreams of not just my kids, but all the 30 and 40 other little kids that was there.
According to Lancaster police, shortly after the disagreement with the refs, the 2 coaching staffs got into a physical fight. That's when investigators say Talib opened fire. With him that day was his brother, former NFL cornerback Aqib Talib. He was not charged with any crimes and was in court Monday for his brother's sentencing.
Mike was innocent in all of this. It was horrible what happened to him. And, you know, if he wants to believe it was his decision, that's fine. But ultimately, it was the evidence really that led to his plea bargain.
A longtime friend said Michael Hickmon was someone you could always count on.
He was one of the only guys that I knew going into college that actually had a father that lived at home with him. So he had this strength that a lot of us didn't have. He walked with his head tall.
I still remember the day he was born. I was 6 years old.
Hickman's oldest sister questioned why Talib brought a gun to a youth football game to begin with. Based on his criminal history, Talib was not legally allowed to have a gun and was indicted only months earlier for unlawful possession of a firearm by a felon.
You went at some event where you felt like your life was going to be in jeopardy.
And I still every day tell myself he might have pleaded guilty, but the punishment that he have is much greater.
Hickman's family is suing Yaqub Talib, his brother, Aqib Talib, and the Big 12 Youth Sports League. They are seeking more than $1 million in damages. Steve.
All right, Lori Brown reporting live tonight outside the courthouse. Thanks, Lori.
Well, a mother may have prevented a school shooting by turning her son into police.
That teenager, it's the cousin of the Uvalde school shooter, and Fox 4's Dan Godwin's here with the story. Dan?
And Lauren, the suspect is 17-year-old Nathan Cruz. He's in jail facing 2 charges, making a terroristic threat against a public place and a family member. It was Cruz's mother who alerted law enforcement. She reportedly overheard her son on the phone trying to purchase an AR-15 rifle through an illegal sale. According to court documents, Cruz's sister told police that her brother had threatened to shoot her in the head and that he had stated he would, quote, shoot the school. The arrest warrant in this case says the family lives near an elementary school in San Antonio. Nathan Cruz, as we mentioned, currently in jail. It's been confirmed that he is the cousin of Salvador Ramos. Ramos was 18 years old when he opened fire at Robb Elementary in May of last year, killing 19 students and 2 teachers before he was fatally shot by law enforcement agents. Cruz's sister reportedly told her mother that Cruz was, quote, planning to do the same thing. After investigating the claims, detectives decided the alleged statements by Cruz were serious enough to arrest him. His bond has been set at more than $150,000. The New York Times reports, according to the arrest warrant, Nathan Cruz denied making any threats.
The beloved owner of an East Dallas air conditioning service is in the hospital after he was shot by a thief trying to break into his work truck. His family is increasing the Crime Stoppers reward. It is up to $15,000 for tips that lead to the arrest of the shooter. Fox 4's Lori Brown is live in Dallas. Lori.
Of course, the bullet injured Jesse Simmons' kidney and spine, causing him to be paralyzed below the knees. His family is hopeful that a surgery Thursday may be able to restore his ability to walk. Jesse Simmons' Ring camera captured the moments before he nearly lost his life. When a man walked through his yard at 5:30 Thursday morning, Simmons was getting ready for a Greater East Dallas Chamber of Commerce board meeting. After seeing the alert, he walked outside with his firearm in hand.
Can I help you? Can I help you?
The Ring camera cut off just before Dallas police say Simmons was shot.
He was shot. The bullet went through his kidney, went through his liver, and through his spine.
The bullet paralyzing him below the knees. Dr. Chuck Cobdish, a longtime friend of Simmons, is working to raise money to help the family pay for medical bills.
He is doing everything he can to make East Dallas a better place for all of us. And for someone, some thug, to come in and interject themselves into Jesse's life and come this close to taking Jesse away from us, that would be a significant loss.
Simmons is a 60-year-old husband, father of 5, and grandfather of 4. Cobdish says he is well known in East Dallas as the go-to AC and appliance serviceman.
If you take a look at his client base, everybody in East Dallas knows him. When he started out, he would drive all over town to take care of folks. But what happened is, as he was networking and building his business here in East Dallas, the need for him to travel became smaller and smaller and smaller. And so he probably services every house within 5 square miles of this spot right here.
Police say the shooter was checking for unlocked vehicles when Simmons confronted him at his work truck. Cobdish says if the burglar had asked, Simmons would have given him whatever help he needed. Now Cobdish wants whoever did this or knows who did this to come forward.
What if it was your husband, your friend?
The suspect may have been wounded himself. Simmons' wife says he fired back, and police told her 2 shots are unaccounted for.
Anybody that knows who this person is, please call the authorities. If he did this to Jesse, he'll do it to somebody else. Jesse will live, Jesse will survive, but maybe the next person won't.
The family is offering an additional $10,000 reward through Crime Stoppers for information that leads to an arrest and indictment. That brings the total reward to $15,000. The Dallas Police Department says if anyone has information and wants to remain anonymous, they can call the Crime Stoppers tip line at 214-373-TIPS, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Clarice.
Lori, thank you. Garland police say they are looking to connect a suspected drug dealer with more fentanyl overdoses in the city. He was arrested last week after 3 teens were found unresponsive at Firewheel Town Center. Fox 4's David Santandri live at the Dallas County Jail. David.
Yeah, Eric Santos is allegedly responsible for supplying fentanyl to 3 teenage girls who all overdosed. Those girls survived their overdoses, but Garland Police Department is now trying to figure out if he's also the dealer responsible for supplying fentanyl to another teenage girl. But this teenage girl we're talking about, unfortunately, died from her overdose. 19-year-old Eric Santos is in the Dallas County Jail for allegedly supplying fentanyl pills, which led to 3 teenage girls overdosing in Garland on August 1st.
We're not thinking this is the first time that Eric's been involved in something like this, so we're trying to connect all these dots.
The Garland Police Department now believes Santos might be responsible for the overdose death of a teen girl back in July.
If that is the case, then we will be filing an additional charge.
The 3 girls who overdosed and survived met Santos at Firewheel Mall that Tuesday afternoon, according to an arrest affidavit. Santos allegedly gave them pills and did not take anything in return. 2 of the girls went inside TGI Fridays, took the drugs, and overdosed.
2 young females in a stall, in a bathroom stall, are completely unresponsive. One was 16, one was 17.
Beforehand, the 3rd girl went to a movie next door at AMC with Santos, according to the affidavit. She overdosed in a theater, and Santos carried her out, but left before investigators arrived.
The young man that she was with says, hey, I got to go. I just met her a couple of months ago. I'm on probation or something to the effect, and he took off.
Investigators tracked Santos down after interviewing the overdose victims. Santos was using this Instagram account to sell blue M30 fentanyl pills, according to the affidavit. You can see a circular blue emoji with an M in the middle on the Instagram bio.
Please, please stay away from taking anything that's an M30 or a perk or anything that you're buying out on the streets. This is not safe.
For now, investigators will work to confirm if additional overdoses are connected to Santos and who's been supplying him.
You're right. You know, there's always somebody over you. There's somebody else that's bigger.
At least 2 of those 3 girls who overdosed and survived were administered Narcan, according to that arrest warrant affidavit. Now, I want to point out that Santos is here in the Dallas County Jail. Bond is set at $450,000. That is $150,000 for each of those girls he's accused of providing fentanyl to who overdosed.